NBA Summer League on NBA TV, and these are the Hunger Games. The consolation round continues with the 1-4 Philadelphia 76ers against the 3-2 Miami Heat. And Ben Simmons will go today at the Thomas & Mack Center on the campus of UNLV. Played the first three for Philly, sat the last two to rest, and he is balling before your eyes right now on NBA TV. Hello again, basketball fans. Rick Kamla with Greg Anthony, national champion, right here with the running Rebs of UNLV. We have Jared Greenberg with us as well. Very exciting that Ben Simmons is going to play here in the consolation round.
Yeah, and I think it's an opportunity for him, again, to continue to just evolve as a player and get comfortable and familiar with their system. And then obviously for the fans as well. You're the #1 pick. Everybody wants to see the goods, and I think they'll be on display here today.
So Ben Simmons is going to go. Let's talk about his teammate, Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, 24th pick. They had a bevy of picks, obviously, and this one may be under the radar. We're going to see him play, and we've already seen him play, and he's shown some good things here in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, he's been solid, and to your point, the fact that they have so many young, talented players, they've yet to really establish who they are, how they're going to perform, and so Timothé may have an opportunity to find himself in that rotation. Remember, guard play is going to be critical. We've talked so much about that front line, but to me it's going to be how that backcourt develops that will determine just how good this Sixers team ultimately will be.
Luwawu-Cabarrot, 9.4 PPG, making 42% of his shots, 36% from three-point range. Believe it or not, those are pretty good percentages.
Yes.
The offensive efficiency in the Summer League typically is down. And Victor Rudd balled yesterday as Miami lost to the Phoenix Suns, a chance to move on to the quarterfinals, but it wasn't because of Rudd. He had 24.
Yeah, I mean, he was special yesterday, knocking down triples with consistency. You know, he could also put it on the floor as a big guy. Definitely has impressed a lot of people with how he's performed here in Las Vegas.
He hit 4 of 6 from downtown yesterday. I spoke with his agent, Brian Elvis, and he said that there are some offers already from overseas. So Victor Rudd has shined here in Vegas. Starting lineups presented by Samsung. Allen, Lowe, Luwawu-Cabarrot, Simmons and Long for Philly, Moore, Carrera, Lee, Horton, and Carrera for Miami. So we're underway here at the Thomas & Mack. And, of course, Saturday, it's quarterfinal action. Sunday, the semifinals. And Monday night at 9 Eastern, it is the championship game on ESPN2. Damian Lee, an early air ball.
Yeah, had a good look at it. Just didn't shoot that with a lot of confidence and ended up airballing it.
Long driving off glass, and he is on the board. Sean Young.
That was a nice play there by the big fella. Used that size, and the Heat didn't provide any help there. Allowed him to take 3-4 dribbles and get all the way to the rim.
Here's Carrera. He's been an eye-opening player. Snatched the offensive rebound. And here's Victor Rudd trying to stay hot. And here's Ben Simmons. He'll take a fadeaway jumper, and that was wide to the left. Here's Sean Long, and the tip in by Simmons. And Simmons got that offensive rebound. He will now drive on Rudd, try to cross him over and lost the handle. Here's Lee with a nice spin. Lee in the open court.
Oh, that was nice there by Lee. Very aggressive at that finish in the open floor. Ben Simmons was grabbing his left hand a little bit after that last move on the turnover.
Allen tried to bounce it to Long, and it was picked off by Damian Lee. He's been solid for Miami. Didn't play much with them in Orlando. The playing time has been extended here in Vegas. Rookie out of Louisville.
Well, you remember that a lot of they've got a deep roster, and now with their core guys not participating here today, there'll be more opportunities as you take a look at Juwan Howard, head coach for the Heat.
Assistant coach on Eric Spoelstra's staff, running the show here from Orlando all the way to Las Vegas. It has been a busy, grindy couple of weeks for the Miami Heat. Here's Luwawu-Cabarrot spinning and missing. And there is Sean Long, and he's been active early.
He really has. Look at the delay of game there, but I like that activity. You know, you saw him with the ability to put the ball on the floor. He's altered a couple shots here early on and then attacking there on that offensive glass.
Briante Weber not going today. He's been the breakthrough point guard for the Miami Heat. Nick Moore, number 59, starting for him, and Victor Rudd draws a foul. No injury to Briante Weber. I saw him clowning around in the warm-ups before the game, just getting a day off here.
Yeah, and you talked about how well he's performed. Remember now, the Miami Heat are going to go through a complete transformation because they've lost their identity when you talk about Dwayne Wade. And it made it more of a priority for them to re-sign Tyler Johnson. Briante Weber, I think you're going to have an opportunity to get some minutes, some consistent minutes on that roster moving forward. So it's going to be real interesting to see how they ultimately evolve. What's that identity going to be? Who's ultimately going to be your best player? I mean, we still have the uncertainty with Chris Bosh. So a lot more questions right now for the Miami Heat than answers.
Ben Simmons called for an offensive foul, and that was Michael Carrera, hustler extraordinaire, coming over to take the charge. And we take a look at the Heat's roster. And you're right, the big question is Chris Bosh, and back-to-back seasons cut short due to the blood clotting, and whether or not he can come back or whether he may need to retire. We're certainly hoping he can come back, but
Absolutely.
the Heat are a little bit in limbo, not knowing his status.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, you lost Luol Deng, who had a terrific season for you. Joe Johnson came over late in the season, was really good for you. So that's a lot of veterans for a little power in there, and that's what Ben Simmons can do. I mean, he can make plays that other guys can't even see. That was just a beautiful behind-the-back pass off the pick and roll in rhythm for the layup.
Give me an adjective to describe his vision and his passing.
Wow. An adjective. I'd have to give you a little bit more of a statement on that. He does have a lot of what LeBron has in terms of his vision. And he's not the scorer that LeBron was, but his ability to pass it, I think, is parallel to where LeBron was at this stage of his career. And honestly, he might have a little better vision. What LeBron was a great ball mover.
Oh, what a play by Long, catching it, an out-of-space rebound, kind of caught a bad pass or take right there by Ben Simmons,
I'm
and
say
one.
Ben Simmons was making a pass there. And I think Ben would say that as well. But if you watch here as he's coming off, he sees him, and he's just trying to leave it where you can go and give it to your big. But look at this pass here, just right in stride. That's when you can make those kinds of passes, the defense doesn't have a chance to react. And that was brilliant right there. And that's what you want to see. Like, that's the thing with Ben Simmons. You don't look at it, and this is for a lot of top picks here. You don't look at their stats. You look at what they can do in terms of how they're going to impact the game to the next level and the areas that they're going to have to work on. Obviously, he's going to have to get better at shooting the basketball, but that'll come with time. But his playmaking ability, I think, is what's going to be relied upon most, and rebounding for this Sixers team.
Nick Moore just hit a fadeaway over Simmons. Here's Allen on a step back, and the rebound taken by Miami. That is Chris Horton.
And the other concern, not that it's a major one, but you want to find out, can he guard small forwards at the next level? Is he going to have to play more four defensively? And if that's the case, then you have to change how you play in terms of your rotation.
Nifty pass by Simmons back to Long, and another offensive foul, and this one the charge taken by Horton. So Ben Simmons balling here in Las Vegas and getting his dime on as Philly leads by 4 early on. Joined by Kristaps Porzingis, one of the top rookies from a year ago. And Kristaps, great to see you here in Orlando. We saw you there with Jeff Hornacek, and Greg and I were sort of speculating what you were talking about. Was that philosophy? Were you having fun? Was it X's and O's? Well, what kind of were you talking about there with your new coach?
It was everything. Talking about basketball, talking about life. How he wanted to get to know me a little better. I wanted to get to know him, and we talked a lot, as you saw.
Hey, Kristaps, talk a little bit about what went through your mind when you first heard that the trade was made for Derrick Rose.
I mean, I was surprised as everybody, I think. It was sad to see, some of my teammates go, but at the same time, getting a really good player for them. I think that's going to help us win next season, and knowing what type of player Derrick Rose is, I'm really happy that I'm going to have a guy like that who can make myself look better. Well, number one is I think that I'm going to work for the rest of my career on is the physical aspect. You know, obviously I want to get stronger, and this time we really have a plan for the summer where number one thing is just lower body and core, and making sure that is strong, and then building up from there.
The exciting summer for the Philadelphia 76ers continues today as they wrap up Summer League play here at Vegas. Hi, everybody. Jared Greenberg. The positive news today, Dario Saric, a name Sixer fans have come very familiar with, has finally signed 2 years after being acquired on a draft night trade. The 6'10 forward completed a buyout with his Turkish team, allowing him to ink a deal on his rookie contract with Brian Colangelo in company in the city of brotherly love today. Now, Saric led Croatia in their qualifying tournament to get them into the Olympics. Saric was the MVP of that tournament, guys. He, now with, you hear about Joel Embiid being healthy, Ben Simmons, that process that Sam Hinkie started quite a few years ago, guys, it's finally starting, at least starting to come together.
Jared, thank you very much. And the 2-year wait for Philadelphia 76er fans. You remember back in the 2014 draft, they shipped Elfrid Payton and his draft rights to Orlando to get the draft rights to Saric. So the 2-year wait is over, Greg Anthony.
Well, it's not over. It's in terms of them becoming a really good team. But at least now, if they can be healthy, you'll get to see the pieces. And then maybe at that point, you know, somebody in Sam Hinkie was a little bit controversial in terms of his approach. You're starting to see some of the rewards of that in terms of now actually having these guys on the roster and hopefully healthy for this upcoming season.
Here's Luwawu Cabarro off the feed from Simmons. And you know what? Like Simmons, who's really a 3/4. I mean, heck, Simmons is really a positionless player. But the book on Saric is that he's a small forward, he's a power forward, and is a real versatile player. Jared, you have more on Dario Saric.
Well, yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with this and talk to you guys about the flexibility now that Brett Brown has on the court, as well as the flexibility that maybe Brian Colangelo has in the boardroom when deciding what this roster is ultimately going to look like. They have way too many guys right now. It's very crowded. They're unknown products, and there's been rumors of trade talks, obviously, as they try and bring in some veteran talent. But GA, certainly now with Saric, it's a good problem for both Colangelo and, no question about it, for Brett Brown.
It's a great problem. One, they still, because of these guys being on their rookie contracts, they still have a lot of flexibility cap-wise, and you also have time. No one's expecting this team to be a playoff team this upcoming season. So you're going to allow these kids to develop and grow, and then ultimately the players are going to determine the path that the front office takes. You know, who develops at what rate, what position can they play, what position can they defend, and then you'll start to work from that point down. But obviously the focal point is going to still be Ben Simmons first and foremost. Dario is a very good player, but Ben Simmons has a chance to be a transcendent player, and those don't come along very often, and his development is going to be critical to the success of this organization.
That foul on Nick Moore on the much bigger Ben Simmons. Good on that first free throw. Did you consider it a debate between the #1 overall pick with Brandon Ingram and Ben Simmons, or did you think it was a no-brainer?
I thought it was a no-brainer. That's not to take anything away from Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram is going to be a very good player. It's probably going to take him a little longer physically, but you rarely see guys that have the complete package in terms of the skill set. You know, most guys that come in this league, even the really good players, they don't normally do things great. But when you look at Ben Simmons, he's a great rebounder, and he's also a great passer. And so to have those two skill sets, and that is on display there, that's something that is, you can't teach. And that's what you want in great players. You want them to bring things to the table that you can't teach them. And then they develop, they get maturity, they get experience, and then ultimately they can become, if he reaches his potential, one of the very best players in the world.
Second assist of the game for Ben Simmons and Rashawn Holmes. He's been a starter, a starting level player, certainly entering his second year with the 76ers. Coming off the bench today, we see TJ McConnell. He's been terrific at point guard for the Sixers Summer League team, and last year as a rookie for Brett Brown's 76ers. He's coming off the bench today. So a good look here that a couple of guys entering year 2, not starting, but playing in the final Summer League game for Philly.
And I think more suited for the roles that they have right now. Listen, when you win 10 games, you could argue you really don't have a lot of starters on that team. And that's not to take anything away from those guys. I love TJ McConnell. I think in the right role, he can be a solid performer at this level. And I think now with maybe them solidifying that backcourt and having him come off